This is Bruce Boudreau, head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, and it's time for Clay's Canucks commentary live. Let's go with Clay right now.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks commentary live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I am Canuck Clay Emo, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It is Wednesday, September the 21st. I'm in a really good mood, and I can't wait to talk to you, all of you today, get some of your feedback, and I'm going to try something different, a tiny bit of a format change. What I'm going to do is I'm still going to talk for the first 10 to 15 minutes. Then I'm going to ask you a question, and that will be the first 5 minutes of the I guess your part of the show, just so we can kind of focus the discussion a little bit, and then I'll give you my cue to ask me anything else. So let's see how that works tonight. I have a gut feeling. I think tonight's a really good night to try it last night and tonight. So we'll see what happens. So once again, subscribe now for Canucks Insight that is positive, timely, and trustworthy. And of course, I want to thank my moderators in advance. Thanks to all of you for doing what you need to do. Thanks to my members in advance. I'll thank my sponsors mid-show, of course. And then thanks to all of you, no matter where you're watching from, whether you're in my beautiful neighborhood of Steveston and Richmond, in the city, in the Lower Mainland, in the province, in the country, on the continent, or around the world. Thank you for being here. I do not take you for granted. I know that you could be watching, doing anything else right now, but the fact that you're here with me on YouTube with the Clay's Canucks commentary crew, the CCC crew, thank you. So, like this video, like the fact that we are together, like the fact that it is the start of Canucks training camp tomorrow. That's why this episode is called On the Eve of Canucks Training Camp. So like the video. And also, if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, thank you for doing that as well. And make sure you rate and review the podcast as well. So thank you for being here. I'll start off now by highlighting a couple of donations. As we go tonight, you're always welcome to subscribe. You need to subscribe to be able to send messages. Most of you are. You're welcome to become a member or upgrade your membership. You're welcome to donate. You're welcome to gift memberships. And you're welcome to, of course, chat in the comment sections. That's what I want the most. And right away, I want to give a shout out to Carol donating $10, saying, "Hi, Clay. I hope you had a great day and thank you for the community that you created. And I really appreciate it. I'm sure we all do. God bless you." God bless you too, Carol. And yes, I am very grateful for this community. So let's give Carol some love in the chat for the donation. Let's also give Lucas some love in the chat for his donation. Says, "I'm back. I had to take an early night last night because I was at Rogers Arena last night for retail orientation. Let's just say I got tired and crashed out." Well, you never have to explain, and no one has to explain why or why not they're on the stream. But if you want to do that for the sake of everyone, that is completely fine. And I hope that the training started off well for all of you. Coach Rob says he can't see me. So Rob, you need to refresh your browser somehow and make it all work. Today, I want to talk about the fact that the Canucks training camp starts tomorrow, and I want to redo my line projection. So don't start typing them now because I'm not going to show them yet. But when it comes to the halfway point, I'm going to ask you a question about the lines, and then and that will kind of focus our discussion for tonight. But before we get to that, I must say that the Canucks held their media availability today, and it started off with JT Miller it was Bo Horvat and Thatcher Demko. And then it went to JT Miller and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. And then it went to Bruce Boudreau. Now, for the first one, Horvat and Demko, the main thing that I took away from what Horvat had to say was that he knows that people are going to ask him about his contract all season until it gets done. They're going to be asking about it, just like they're asking JT Miller about it. But with JT Miller, at least the Canucks weren't in town. They weren't practicing. They weren't at training camp. It wasn't on the eve of the season. Whereas for Horvat, it's kind of crazy because it's on the eve of the regular season. So he kind of chuckled about it, and he says he doesn't know how many times he's going to have to say, but he's not going to negotiate in public. He wants to be here. His family wants to be here. He wants to be a Vancouver Canuck, but it is business, so they're going to have to figure it out. So I think that was the biggest, and then Horvat, that's the biggest thing that I think that Horvat said. And Horvat also said that he's looking forward to some good line mates. I think the running joke with Horvat is that he's always been kind of I wouldn't say the brunt of it, but he hasn't had really consistent wingers over his 6 or 7 year career with the Vancouver Canucks. So let's see if that changes this season. Then I went to Thatcher Demko, and I really love the way Demko was talking. He's confident, he's poised, just like he is in the net. And what he talked about was that he just doesn't want to be a start. His goal last year was to prove himself as a starting goaltender after the departure of Markstrom, and he did that very, very well. And now he wants to not just be regarded as a good starting goaltender, he wants to be one of the best goaltenders in the league. And you could argue that he's already up there. There's Vasilevsky, there's Shesterkin, there's maybe Yossi Saros there, so that's at least 3. Markey's up there for sure. There's 4, and then I would put Demko in right up there as well in that tier. So I could easily see him as being one of the top 6 or top 7 goaltenders in the league. So it was nice to hear him say that. It was nice to hear him say that he's confident in Spencer Martin, and it's also nice to hear him say that how much he adores Roberto Luongo. Then they moved on to JT Miller and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. With JT Miller is a lot about the relief that his contract is done, the fact that he thinks the Canucks are really close to being a really, really good team, that nothing short of the playoffs and even a Stanley Cup it will be acceptable. I love the way Miller talks like that. And he basically talked about how he wants to improve his defensive side of the game as well. And by being better at defense, then that will help his offense, and that'll help the entire team. So that was nice to hear Miller talking that way. And then it was Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Oliver Ekman-Larsson he's a veteran, and he comes across as really well-spoken and very poised as well. And he talked about the fact that he would love to play with Quinn Hughes, how everyone wants to play with Quinn Hughes because he was just so good and how he makes everyone look good. So those are the 4 players that spoke today. So no PD, no Hughes, no Besser. It was Horvat, Demko, Miller, and Ekman-Larsson. 2 forwards, 1 goaltender, and 1 defenseman. Then Boudreau took the podium, or the table, I should say. He spoke for a good 20 minutes, and he spoke about a lot of things. Everything from his belief in the defensive system, to meaning they're good, to what he expects from training camp, which I'll get to in a second, and his intrigue in guys like Jack Rathbone, what Kuzmenko has to do to succeed in the NHL, in comparison to the KHL. But then what was really interesting is he said that the lines that he rolls out tomorrow, first day of training camp on September 22nd, he hopes is going to be very close to what the lines are on opening night, barring injury, barring an amazing performance by someone else or a horrible performance by one of his guys prior to the regular season. So I think that's why I'm so intrigued about what tomorrow's scrimmage, what tomorrow's training camp is going to look like, because Boudreau has flat out said that he will that he's going to ice 4 lines tomorrow that he hopes might be the 4 lines come the start of the regular season. And thank you to Shannon, who gifted a membership, which is awesome. Shannon gifted 1 CCC membership, and then it goes to our good friend Steve Maihara. And love Steve, love Shannon. So let's give some love to Shannon, and let's give another welcome to Steve. I think this is Steve's second go around as a member. Thank you, Shannon, for your generosity that way. That is awesome. Works the same as a donation. It's even better actually than a donation because, it's a win-win. It helps me, and it also lets someone else try out membership for a month. And remember, YouTube picks who it's going to go to. I have no say over it, although I would have picked Steve because Steve's my buddy. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, there goes my perfect streak. I gave the okay, but I'm getting a lot better with it. So Boudreau was talking about those 4 lines might be what he wants to see when the season starts. He also confirmed that he's going to go 3 deep down the middle, whatever order of Miller, Pettersson, and Horvat as his 3 centers. And then he flat out said, he gave examples of Kuzmenko on the left wing. So Kuzmenko's a right shot on the left wing, trying him. And he even mentioned Connor Garland as a right shot on the left wing. And with the Russians, they always play, traditionally you'd see a lot of right shot guys play on the right wing, a lot of left shot guys play on the left wing. It's easier for them to keep the puck in along the boards because they're on the strong side, but it's harder for them to rip one-timers because they're on the offside. So if you think it through, that makes sense. But you have Ovechkin as a right-hander playing on left wing, then Podkolzin as a left-hander who plays on right wing. You have guys like Connor Garland and Besser as right-handed shots who are playing on the right wing. So to hear him say they might put Connor Garland on the left, that's pretty interesting. And the Canucks only have a few right shot forwards. It's Besser, it's Garland, it's Kuzmenko, and it's Lazar. I think everyone else is a left shot forward. So you can't just put Lazar, Kuzmenko, Besser, and Garland on the right wing because Lazar is a center. So already you're going to have at least one lefty playing on the right. And it sounds like we might have 1 or 2 righties play on the left. So I hope that makes sense. So what it's going to lead to for me is what I think the line combinations may look like. Now, when I first launched this stream a week and a half ago, relaunched the stream, take a walk down memory lane. I gave you these 4 lines. Remember, this was back on September 11th. And I said that it was going to be, these were my predictions at the time. I said it was going to be Kuzmenko on the left wing with Miller and Garland. Miller and Garland played a lot together last year. Then I said a second line of Pettersson, Besser, Podkolzin. Then I said a third line of Horvat, Pearson, Mikheyev. And then a fourth line of Joshua, Lazar, and Hoglander. And I remember I talked about pairs too. Oftentimes it's pairs of wingers. So it's Miller and Garland, and then you put a winger with them. It's Pettersson and Besser, then you put a winger with them. And it's Horvat and Pearson, and then you put a winger with them. Well, based on what Bruce Boudreau said today about trying maybe some right shot guys on the left side, and specifically mentioning Kuzmenko and Garland as guys that might play on the left wing. Well, I had Kuzmenko as a left winger, but now I had to switch Garland. So what I ended up doing is my new predictions for lines, my bottom 6 is still the same. I still have Horvat between Pearson and Mikheyev. Now, Hot Take Hockey, as you know, very, very versed in the Toronto Maple Leafs, obviously. And John, I asked him about both Travis Dermott and Ilya Mikheyev. And he said Mikheyev played on the left side a lot, more on the left side than the right side. That doesn't mean he can't play the right side. And in my lineup, it looks like he will have to if this comes true. So I have Horvat, Pearson, and Mikheyev, and I still have my fourth line the same of Joshua, Lazar, and Hoglander or Dickinson. But my top 2 lines now, given this Garland nugget, I've kind of changed it, and I have it like this now. So I have Garland, Miller, and Podkolzin as my top line. And you might remember they played this line. They tried this last year. They had it reversed. Actually, they tried Pettersson, Podkolzin, and Garland as well. But it was Garland on the right and Podkolzin on the left. So maybe they try something like this. And then that would leave this line I like a lot. Pettersson, Besser, and Kuzmenko. Because I think Kuzmenko's got a really, really good creative offensive game. And I would love to see what he can do. So once again, and yes, Lucas, I will acknowledge your donation. We did. John was on my stream last night. He was here. It's unfortunate you couldn't be here to thank him. I mean, to congratulate him in person. But yes, John was in the chat last night, and we were all able to give him some love as the in-arena host for the OHL Sudbury Wolves. Indeed. So Lucas, thank you for the donation once again. So here are my lines for your reference. Hint, hint. I want you to think of yours coming up. Garland, Miller, Podkolzin, Kuzmenko, Pettersson, Besser, Pearson, Horvat, Mikheyev, and then Joshua, Lazar, and Hoglander. So now, as we've already reached the halfway point of the show, as I do the sponsor read, I would love for you, don't start asking me questions just yet. I want to try something different. For the next 5 minutes, I want to hear what your lines are going to be. What's your guess? And you can use this new knowledge of Kuzmenko and Garland maybe on the left, but whatever you want to do. How would you line up the Canucks 4 lines? Type them all in the same message if you can fit everything in. I'm not sure if you can. It's only 200 characters. Yeah, do your best to fit it all into one message, one comment, and then I will show some of the best suggestions, if not all the suggestions. So as I do my sponsor read, start typing in the comments. How would you line up the Canucks 4 forward lines? I don't care about, I care, but don't type defensemen, don't type goalies. Let's talk about the forward lines right now. Once again, mine are Garland, Miller, Podkolzin, Kuzmenko, Pettersson, Besser, Pearson, Horvat, Mikheyev, Joshua, Lazar, and Hoglander. And if you're wondering, well, how do I do this, Clay? I can't remember all the players. Remember my trick. The 3 centers, Miller, Pettersson, Horvat. The 3 Russians, Kuzmenko, Podkolzin, Mikheyev. The 3 North American wingers, Besser, Garland, and Pearson. And then your 4th line is going to be Lazar, Joshua, Dickinson, and Hoglander. Some of those guys. So start typing those in your comments while I do my mid-show sponsorship read. So, first and foremost, thanks once again to Van City Experts Real Estate. Contact Jason Lim and his team for all of your real estate needs. Thank you to Coach Patrick Liu and the team at Perform Transform Personal Training and Weight Loss. You can sign up now for a free 7-day trial. Use the link performandtransform.ca/CanuckClay as well. Thanks to Gassy Jack Art, maker of this fine artwork. Thank you to Monkey 9 Brewing, my eternal sponsor. And thank you to Vessi Footwear. Use the code CanuckClay to get $15 off every pair of Vessis that you purchase. Thank you to all the sponsors for supporting me on all my endeavors, especially on this live stream. By the way, like this video. There's almost 60 of you in here. There's only 10 likes. That's not the ratio I like to see. So like the fact that the Canucks open training camp tomorrow and that we are still going strong 2 weeks in to this live stream. Let's get to some of your line suggestions now. Taylor says, I love the lines. I presume you mean my lines. Why, thank you, Taylor. It's just a guess. I'm probably going to go 0 for 4 tomorrow, but we'll see. Lucas thinks Kuzmenko will be on the second line, so that would line up with what I said, but don't know who Lucas's second line center or other winger is going to be. Miauza says, Garland, Miller, Besser. Yeah, actually, you know, it's funny. When my son Sean just walked in the door, he actually thinks that Miller and Besser are going to play together as well. Then Kuzmenko, Petey, Mikheyev, okay. Pearson, Horvat, Pods, and then Joshua, Lazar, Hoglander. So you have Jason Dickinson as your healthy scratch. And I like that. So you have Podkolzin dropping down the third line, Mikheyev moving up to the second, PD playing between the 2 Russians, and Garland, Miller, and Besser as your top line. Miaza, I have time for that. I think that's really, really good. I think that looks really good. Edmund says, I'd go Lotta line, but they're not going to. I know you would, and that's fine. I'm glad you typed that up. But Bruce Boudreau has already said he's splitting up Miller and Pettersson. Jay Kang says, Kuzmenko, Pettersson, Besser. So that's the same as mine. Podkolzin. Oh, this is the same as my lines. Kuzmenko, Pettersson, Besser, Podkolzin, Miller, Garland. Just swap the 2 wingers. Yes. Pearson, Horvat, Mikheyev, Hoglander, Lazar, Joshua. There. Yeah, those are my lines exactly. I just have the wingers on different sides. But Jay Kang and I both agree on the exact same set of lines. Interesting. So Edmund decided to type it up over 4 different messages. So he goes Lotta line, Horvat, Pearson, Kuzmenko, Dickinson, Mikheyev, and Garland. So that means he doesn't have Podkolzin in his top 9. Yes, you're missing Podkolzin because you have Dickinson up there. So your 4th line then, Edmund, would be Lazar, Podkolzin, and one of Hoglander or Joshua. I don't know if I like Dickinson as a 3rd line center, but I know you have that because you have PD and Miller playing together. Anula, all the way from Sweden, says Pettersson, Besser, and Pettersson again, or Elias again. Can't remember any others. Okay, well, that's not bad. Although the second, Elias Pettersson, is a defenseman, so you're never going to see PD, Besser, PD forward line, at least not if they're trying to win. Jason says Kuzmenko, Podkolzin, and Miller. I could see that happening. Miller between the two Russians. I could see that. There's potential there. Miazza says, I like Mikheyev's speed creating havoc and attention away from Petey. Yeah, and he's skilled enough where Petey's skilled enough where he can get hit Mikheyev in stride. Yeah, that's a good thought as well. Then Jason's saying is Podkolzin with Petey and Mikheyev. But you just had Podkolzin with Kuzmenko and Miller. So Podkolzin is going to be double shifting. No, I think you're saying one or the other, of course. Carol says, I really like your lines. I wouldn't do anything different, but I'd like to know how many Canadians there are on the Canucks. I can look that up for you real quick. Canadian players, Horvat, Pearson, Dickinson, Lazar. So 4 of our forwards. Defensemen, only Myers and Dermott and Shen, I think. And then I don't know where Spencer Martin is Canadian, but Thatcher Demko isn't. So about half the team. Yeah, no problem, Jake. I kept Hoglander on the left and Garland on the right. That's fine. But Bruce Boudreau did say that he might try Garland on the left. So continue to send your lines in, but I will also move into any other questions as well. But I like that. Tell me if you like that format. I think I'm going to do that. Coming out of the sponsor read halfway, I will do one targeted question. So at least all the answers are focused on one particular question. And then after about 5 minutes, I'll start answering everything else. Nabil doesn't want Dickinson in the top 9. Jason, PP1, PP2, 649 with Hughes and Bow. Yes, that I do think that'll be first one. Then for me, I would put the 3 Russians out there with Garland and OEL. And that's exactly what you did. Yes. So Jason, we have the exact same 2 power play units. No natural center on the second unit, but you kind of don't need one. But then a lot of teams like to put 2 defensemen out there for the second unit because if the power play expires, you don't want to be stuck there with only one defenseman out there. Just incredible. It says Kuzmenko, Miller, and Garland. Yep. Podkolzin, Petey, Besser, Pearson, Horvat, Mikheyev, Joshua, Lazar, Dickinson. Yes, Justin, that's my original lines, actually. Those were the lines that I laid out there September 11th. But the way Boudreau taught today about Kuzmenko and Garland both being left wingers, that kind of puts that guess into a bit of flux. But good guess. Well, and not just because it's the same guess as mine, but I like it. Let's go, Tanner. Go Lotto line, which again is not going to happen, but these are your lines, which is fine. Lotto line, Kuzmenko, Horvat, Garland, Podkolzin, Dickinson, Mikheyev, Joshua, Lazar, Hoglander. Then you are missing Pearson though. So Tanner Brown is benching Tanner Pearson. Jay Kang, I know you asked this prior to me saying it, so hopefully you heard my answer about PP1 and PP2. Shannon, Miller, Petey, Kuzmenko, Mikheyev, Lazar, Hoglander, Horvat, Podkolzin, Pearson. Do not know if this is all the lines. Yeah, that's 3. That means your 4th line would have Garland. Yeah, I think you're missing a bit of skill. Your 4th line is Garland, Hoglander, and who am I missing? Oh, there's no Besser. So yeah, Garland, Hoglander, Besser. There's no center there though, or Dickinson. But I don't mind Miller, Petey, Kuzmenko for sure. Then I think yours breaks down a little bit. Horvat, Podkolzin, Pearson. That's not bad either. Yeah, but you do have Lazar and Lazar quite high and Hoglander quite high. I'm not sure if they can be top 9 players. Adam says the West Coast Express. Yeah, you're about 20 years behind. Thanks, Anula. Always appreciate you being here before your work day. Jay Kang, Hoglander should be in the top 9 or playing with top line minutes in AHL. He's only 21 with good upside. No point in the 4th line. Yeah, unless they want to run a different look 4th line, like a more skilled one. But I agree with you. And I've said before, I don't want to give up on him just yet because he's such a young player still. Jason says the 3rd and 4th lines will be interesting for sure. The Canucks could roll out a 3rd line that actually scores, so we will see. Nabil says, I have a dark horse making the team, which no one is talking about. The pizza man, Phil DiGiuseppe. Yes, he'd need a really good training camp, though. I simply don't see that happening, but he did have a good camp last season. Jason says the West Coast Express is still the best line the Canucks ever had, almost unstoppable. But 649 is close, and Sedin, Burrows is probably top 3. I love it. Love it. There's also an amazing line for the Canucks back in the 80s. Actually, there are two. One of them was Tony Tanti and Patrick Sundstrom. Oh, and I can't remember their third winger. So that was a really good line. And then you have Gradine, Smeal, and Fraser, of course. Tanner says, I forgot Pearson shows the depth. Yeah, a lot deeper than before. Jason wants to see the 3 Russians and Garland play together on the PP. Calls it the chaos line. Coach Rob affirming Shannon's lines. Yeah, I liked a couple of them for sure. Lucas, did you hear Bruce's remarks about the Little League thing he attended in Williamsport? Not surprised considering he lives in Hershey. Yes, he talked about going to support the Canadian World Series Little League team, which was awesome. Jason says Pearson gets traded before the season's over. I think Pearson has a modified no trade. So 7-team no trade. Okay, so he can be traded to 24 other teams, not 25 because the Canucks are one of the teams. If you follow my amazing math there. No worries, Shannon. None of us are NHL coaches. I think it's great that you gave your best shot. That's awesome. Jay Kang, anyone from the Young Stars catch your eye for the Canucks? I've mentioned this on my show yesterday. I didn't watch any of the games, but just in seeing highlights, Klimovich was good. Nielsen was good. Linus Karlsson was good. Arthur Seeloss was good. Those are some guys that caught my eye. Miazza, Hogs needs to give us 1 Michigan goal before we give up on him. Yeah, tough to do in the heat of the game, heat of the moment, but we will see. Why do you think Alvin and Rutherford did meet with media today? I think we're going to be hearing from them a lot in Whistler, and I think they wanted to put the players and the coach front and center today. That's only a guess, fangirl. Adam says, Adam, thank you for the $2 super sticker. Let's give some love to Adam in the chat. And Adam says, love the Clay Nation. The Clay Nation loves you, Adam. Thank you. SMWJD, are the lines good enough for you? The D is kind of weak as always. I'm fine with the forward lines. And if you go OEL and Hughes, I don't care who plays on what side, then that's a lot better than having those two guys split up both on your left side. Go OEL and Hughes. Then you can go Dermott, Myers, and then Rathbone, Shen, or Rathbone, Pullman. That's what I would do. Zal, you think the Canucks will pick up a D before the actual season starts? I don't. I think they're prepared to go with this crew right now. Which preseason games will be on TV? I don't know that. If someone could look that up and let Jay Kang know, that would be awesome. Lucas says, I'm not surprised Bruce maintains residence in Hershey, Pennsylvania in the offseason, partially because that's where his head coaching career really took off. He won 4 of 5 championships, AHL championships, while in Hershey, which is pretty good. Would I have done a first rounder for Lundqvist? No, I think that's a little high, but I do understand you have to give up quality to get quality. So I wouldn't have done that, but maybe that's because I don't know enough about Lundqvist. Jason says, is still no radio partner? Yesterday, Patrick Johnson of the Vancouver Province reported that the Canucks and Sportsnet 650 have agreed to a 1-year deal. 1-year deal, but we have not heard anything officially just yet. Justin Credible says, random thought. I like random thoughts. Kuzmenko, Petey, and Miller. Garland, Bow, and Hoglander. Podkolzin, Lazar, Besser. Pearson, Dickinson, Mikheyev. A bit of skill and size and speed on each line, plus face-off prowess. Yeah, I like the balance, but I simply don't think that's the way they're going to go. But I like the creativity there. Do I think more media availability happens tomorrow? Yes, but not as formal. It'll be kind of the after practice media scrums. Zal, you see Boudreau getting 66-1 odds for being the first coach fired. That's good odds. Good odds meaning you'd place that $5 bet to win $330. I don't think he's the first coach fired. Jason, nothing good comes cheap. Got to give up first round pick for JT. Yeah, more than that. Nabil, I think they'll pick up a D on waivers once other teams have to get their lineups together. A lot of teams have D-man one-way contracts, so there'll be a lot trying to pass waivers. That's a good point. You could always pick a guy off waivers. That's a good point. Zal would put your money where your mouth is. I'm just kidding, Zal. You do whatever you want. Darcy Rhoda, the right winger for Tanti and Sundstrom. I'm going to look this up. I don't think so. Canucks line, Sundstrom, Tanti. Who was it? Oh, here it is. It was Daniel. Sorry guys. This will be worth it. This is horrible for the podcast though, as I'm typing stuff into Google. Wow. Tanti scored 45 goals with Sundstrom and Tiger Williams. But I'm not sure if that was the regular. Yeah, I'll have to look that up another time. I don't think it was Rhoda though, but I could be wrong. Shannon, I missed the answer to this, but do you see the Canucks make a trade early in the season? And if so, who will it be? Who do you want it to be? I would love it if they could find a way to move Dickinson or Pullman, but I don't think it's going to happen. Ekman-Larsson gets about 8 goals this season. I think that's a good guess, actually. Jason, this is the first time in ages anyone has talked about the forward lines means we have options, and options equal success and internal competition. Yes, 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 and yes. Adam, Lazar gets 20 plus points. No, not as a fourth liner. I don't think so. Clay, here's a hypothetical. With the ECHL going 1-1 this year, I expect the league to match with the A and the NHL. Where would you like to see the Canucks ECHL to be located and why? West Coast. How about Oregon? Because they don't have a professional hockey team. Who would you take out of the lineup if Pullman is healthy enough to play? It'll be Shen. It would be him and Shen battling for that spot. Justin, I definitely love the forward depth more with Lazar, Joshua McKayev, Hoglander, and even Dickinson is 13th forward as depth compared to the Chasons, Highmores, and Lamicos of the world. Yeah, when you think about it, we actually brought in Kuzmenko, McKayev, Lazar, and Joshua for Chason, Highmore, Lamico, and Mott. Adam said that Adam's right. Hit the like button now or Gino will hit you. Yes, Gino Oljek will run you through the boards if you do not like this video. Edmund, doesn't all this hockey talk want you to get you super pumped and also getting NHL 23? No, don't try and sucker me into spending money, Edmund, just to get my butt whooped by my kids. I'm very, very excited about the NHL, but that doesn't translate to making me want to buy NHL 23. Nice try. Lucas, the ECHL's westernmost team is in Boise. Ah, I did not know that. I guess that's why it's... Oh, yeah, I'm so stupid. It's called the East Coast Hockey League for a reason. Okay, then I change my team to... I don't know. South Carolina. I have no clue. I have no clue who's in the ECHL. It could be Petri Shriko. It could be LA Women's Hoops. Sadu, Nucks at Oilers, the Sportsnet 1. The Flames at Canucks on Sunday, and the Kraken at Nucks will be on Sportsnet. Thank you for that. That is awesome. Fangirl, what are the odds that Horvat's extension happens during training camp? I can't put odds on it, but I think it could happen in the next 2 weeks before the regular season starts. Lucas, always glad to be seen. Thank you. Come on, CCC Crew, let's get Clay emo spending. No. You know, it's funny, Shannon, thank you. But no, we're good. I am grateful for whatever donations come my way, whatever way, shape, or form, by memberships or donations. But thank you, Shannon, for your support. And it's funny, you can read this as, come on, CCC Crew, let's get Clay some spending money, i.e. it coming to me. Or the other way is come on, CCC Crew, let's get Clay spending money, as in the verb, like let's get Clay to spend money. Regardless, thank you for your support, everyone. Lucas, why not set our ECHL affiliate in Stockton to take over the Flames who abandoned that? That would be interesting. Another West Coast team. Justin, I missed this. Apparently there was a buzz among some fans about Miller's hat at the golf tournament. Yeah, he wore the cap that had an American flag with a blue line through it that represents policemen. And some people didn't like it because it's that whole Blue Lives Matter. It's the whole movement for police officers, basically, and the work that they do, which a lot of it is good, but of course they've been marred in controversy a lot. So in essence, I don't have a problem with it because he could have a relative that's a police officer. He could have had someone he loves lost their life as a police officer. Just because he's wearing the hat doesn't mean he's standing up for all the bad things that anyone in this particular case, law enforcement people do. Not all the bad things, but some bad things. So that's what the controversy was about. I decided not to get into it because I didn't see it as a big deal. Certainly not as big deal as other people said it to be. Frango, did you see the trailer for the live action Little Mermaid? I did. It looks good. Looks really good. Edmund, you think if Subban had one offer, he wouldn't have retired? Or do you think teams offered Subban a contract and he perhaps advised he wasn't sure what he was going to do? I heard that he wanted Montreal or Toronto, and those were his only two choices or destinations. Oh, Shannon, you're trying to get me to spend money. Okay, I will do that on another stream. Yeah, Nabil, you said it well. Blue Stripe, as some people say, it's about cops brutality or some BS. I think it's just people trying to stir stuff up. Sadu says, so if they came to a 1-year deal with Sportsnet, we have to go through this next year. Yes. It's not that they won't play. It's just a matter we don't know where they will play. And I read that they also lined it up to expire at the end of next season because that's when the TV deal expires as well. So you can negotiate everything in one fell swoop. Yes, Lucas, I have actually 2 sets of season tickets, one in 319 and one set in 115. By the way, starting to sell some tickets now. People are reaching out. We're making some transactions. So if you want, again, to buy some tickets from me or you want to see the list of tickets I have for sale, many of you have already, you can email me, canuckclay@gmail.com. Last few comments. Subban to take the year off and come back next year in broadcasting? Question mark. Maybe. Yeah, he'd be great. Zal, putting Hughes on the right side is like paying your Visa bill with a MasterCard. So is that good or bad? Justin, thanks for clearing that up. I was perplexed and didn't know what it was about. Thought it was because he was supporting the USA in general. No, police officers. Carol, hi Reaction Club. Thanks for all those updates about the Canucks playing all those teams. But what days are those if you don't mind telling me? Yeah, someone can look up the preseason schedule for Carol, or Carol, just type in Canucks schedule in Google. Edmund says, I hope Canucks don't go back to pay-per-view again. Wasn't a fan of it. No, I think those days are past. And Justin says, any favorite song from the Eagles? They're playing tomorrow night at Rogers Arena. Sadly, I don't know a lot about Eagles music. It flew right over my head. Oh, thank you. You didn't have to wait to the end of this show for a dad joke. I thought that was pretty good. Give me some love. Give me some love in the chat. I thought that was funny. Taylor, the Canucks are on Sportsnet TV for sure. That was never a doubt. They're not sure where the Canucks games, the audio is going to be, either on the radio or streaming. Did you hear the Celtics coach is suspended for having an improper relationship with a female staff member? No, I will look that up a bit later. Not look up the improper relationship. I mean, look up the news. Lucas, what are the TV rights and radio rights expiring at the same time? Yes, that's why it is kind of interesting for sure. And Carol says, Edmund, if they go back to Vancouver, it goes back to the plant that we have to spend money to see the games. I won't be able to do that. Oh, the plan? Yes, where we'd have to spend money. I think it would turn a lot of people off. Booyah, Hotel California, clever. Sadu gets Flames at Nucks is on, yes, this coming Sunday. Seattle game is next Saturday, and the Oilers game is the Monday after that. Thank you for that. Hockey on Sportsnet, is it getting canceled? No. TV deal not affected. Very good. Okay, I think now's the time to wrap up. So my friends, that was a lot of fun. Thank you for being here. Tomorrow, it's day 1 of Canucks training camp, 3 days in Whistler. And they basically go 3 groups. The first group, then the second group, and then they scrimmage against each other, then lunch, and then the third group. The third group usually is AHL guys. So you'll see all the main roster players split up among the first 2 groups so they can scrimmage against each other and so it'll be equal. So look for 2 good lines on each side. And then that might be a look at our top 12. And I'll be sure to vlog about it tomorrow. So yes, training camp starts tomorrow, the first of 3 days. So thank you, moderators. Again, I've always said it doesn't like you have to do too much, but as these get bigger, you may be busier, but thank you. I appreciate you. Legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Justin Credible, legendary Andrew Chang, thank you. And Hall of Fame and franchise members, thank you as well. Sponsors, Van City Experts Real Estate, Perform and Transform, Personal Training and Weight Loss. Thanks to both of you as well. And anyone who donated today, I think it was Adam, Shannon, and Lucas, if I'm correct. Shannon also gifted a membership to Sorry, it was Carol with the first donation tonight. Thank you, Carol. And then Shannon with the gifting of the membership that Steve got. Thank you as well. And to anyone else who subscribed tonight, I appreciate you. So tomorrow night will be my last show of the week, and we're going to have a full show to talk about Canucks training camp. Day 1 of 3. So I can't wait to see you tomorrow night. Same time, same place, 11 p.m. Pacific, right here on YouTube. And if you're listening in the podcast world as well, thanks to you. I appreciate you just as much. So as always, subscribe if you'd like to, like this video if you'd like to, leave a donation if you'd like to, become a member or upgrade your membership if you'd like to, and definitely leave a comment anytime. I love reading your comments, even if I don't get to reply to every single one of them. So my friends, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. And I got to tell you, this morning, I just noticed too, I always start off my jokes with, I got to tell you. But I got to tell you, it wasn't this morning, it was this afternoon. I was actually going for my walk, and I saw a grown man, crying while he was mowing his lawn. So I stopped and I asked him, hey bro, is everything okay? And he replied, yeah, I'm just going through a rough patch. God bless, and go Canucks go. Booyah.